So today I am going to take a view about two-column proof.
Okay, so let's try another proof. So for this proof, we have this, right here we have that segment GH is parallel to segment KJ, and we know that GK is parallel to HJ. Okay, so we have this quadrilateral here, and we know some information about it. Okay, so I always told you when you're given information to mark it off on the picture. So GH is parallel to KJ, so GH, KJ. So we're going to mark that off that those are parallel. We can use little triangles if you want, or you can just use kind of the symbol right there. Then the other thing that we want to know, that we know is that GK is parallel to HJ. So GK is right here, HJ is right here, so let's mark that off. Perfect. So now we want to prove that triangle GJK, so GJK is congruent to triangle JGH. Okay? So basically, we need to come up with a bunch of reasons and statements about why that can be the case. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to write our given sound. I told you that's always the first thing that we do. So GH is parallel to KJ. Okay? And the other one is that GK is parallel to HJ. And that is given. Now, remember, I told you, when you're given that two segments are parallel, that's like awesome news, because that means you can start looking for alternate interior angles, because those are going to be congruent when you know you have parallel lines. So, given that we have absolutely no segments that are congruent yet, no angles that are congruent yet, we've got our work cut out for us. So let's start looking for those alternate interior angles. So if these two segments are parallel, then that's going to mean that that angle is congruent to that angle, right? Because they're alternate interior angles, okay? You can think about it if we had extended this line out, for example, and we had extended this line out, and only look at the stuff that's in the orange, and then we make that our transversal. You can clearly see, big line, transversal, alternate interior angles. Good. So let's put that down as our next statement. So we're going to say that angle HGJ, oops, I need to put the angle sign first. HGJ is congruent to angle KJG. And the reason for that is alternate interior angles are congruent. So remember, alt-int angles are congruent. And it's okay if you abbreviate in that fashion for my class. For this class. Good. So we're getting there. We've got two angles congruent, but we still have a long way to go. So let's think about this. There was another pair of parallel lines. So let me grab another color. I'm going to grab green here. So there's another pair of parallel lines, these two lines right here. So let's think about this. If we're talking about these two lines, so now I'm working with the green. So let's think about extending these out so we get a clearer picture. Okay, and again, here is our transversal still. And what are you noticing right now? Okay, you've got this line, you've got this line, that's the transversal. Now look at this. Those are alternate interior angles now. Those two angles. So angle HJG and angle KGJ are alternate interior angles, so they're going to be congruent. So that'll be our next step. So 3, so angle, what did I say? HJG, HJG. All these just sounds are confusing me. HJG and KGJ. KGJ. Next time I'm going to pick letters that don't have the same sound at the beginning. Okay, so H, J, G, and K, G, J are congruent to each other because they're alternate interior angles. We know that alternate interior angles are congruent. So alternate interior angles are congruent. Very good. So now we've got two angles. So if we look at these two triangles, we've got these two angles are congruent, these two angles are congruent, so we need a side now. We need a side. Oh my goodness, I feel stuck. What do I do? Remember what I told you, when you feel stuck, start looking for things. I said, look for shared angles. That's not going to help us because we need a side. Look for vertical angles. Again, angles, not going to help us. But the other one was shared side. And guess what? They share this side in the middle. Side GJ. Look at that. Fabulous. What should I mark it off in? Student black. Yes. They share that side right there. And again, if you're like, oh my goodness, this is confusing. I'm seeing all these triangles and they're together and I don't see them split apart, then split them apart. Just split them apart right down here. Just split them apart right down here. And you can still kind of even name them. I know that's a little distorted, but you get the point. We're just trying to make a quick diagram here. And then that's J, G, H. And we had already marked off that that's congruent to this, and we've marked off that that's congruent to this, and now we're marking off that third one. And right now, here, maybe you can see it more clearly. Here, we've clearly got angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle. Okay? So once we put down that they share that side, we can prove that the triangles are congruent. So let's write down that they share that side. So GJ, segment GJ is congruent to itself. And that's the reflexive property. Okay? So now we've got angle, side, angle. Like I said, angle, side, angle. Perfect. So now we can say that those two triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle. So triangle GJK is congruent to triangle JGH. And that is by angle, side, angle. Okay? Very good. So remember, the whole point of these is that we want to try to see what does this given information help us with, or if the given information doesn't really help us with much more, we're looking for those shared sides, those vertical angles, or those shared angles. And we want to get to a point where we are proving triangles congruent either by the four things I taught you, side, 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 angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side. Okay, so here, once we started putting information in, we were able to get angle, side, angle. We were able to prove the triangles congruent, which was our goal. Now, if I had asked you to prove that side HJ was congruent to side KG, you would have been able to do it because you would have just added one more step, and that step would have been CPCTC. So remember, proving triangles congruent is important, but remember, I could always ask you to take it one step further and prove those corresponding parts congruent, so those segments or those angles. Very good.
So I learned that in order to prove a two-column proof, you just have to analyze it properly. It is a little bit difficult for me, so I might watch this video over and over again. Thank you.